welcome back to the channel. I'm Jimmy and today I'm driving the Mark III Cobra by Superformance. Every car enthusiast has that one car that they dream about. That one car where if they could make the perfect day on the perfect road, they'd be driving that car. This is that car for me. To me, the Shelby Cobra has always been one of the most spectacular cars because it blends European design, classic sports coupe, with raw American V8 power. This particular model is powered by a 5-liter V8. It's a Coyote, the Roush supercharger strapped to the top of it. Together they make around 650 horsepower. Mated to that engine is a 5-speed manual Tremec transmission. This car feels like you're strapped to an engine and there's not much else to it. This thing feels like it weighs nothing at all. This thing has so much torque, it doesn't matter what gear you're in, it'll still scare you. The driving experience in this thing, as you can tell by me yelling right now, this is a lot. The transmission tunnel in this car is so big and so close to you that my feet are wedged way off to my left. My feet are all the pedals are so close together that I'm barely jamming my feet in there to press the clutch. Best driver in the world. I'm not the best car reviewer, but I wish I could explain to you the experience of driving this car. This is unlike anything else I've ever been in. Everything is so analog. Whether it's the steering, there's no power steering in this car. You feel everything from the road coming straight to your hands in this wheel. It's not the most direct in the world, but it has so much feel. And this transmission, though it's a Tremec, it's not the easiest thing in the world. This dogleg shifter is really interesting to use and get used to. But it's an amazing experience and the satisfaction with each shift is amazing. A little bit about Superformance. They're a company, I believe they're based out of California, and they are licensed to build these Shelby Cobra replicas. They make other models too, but these replicas are done in such great detail and they really are so close to the real thing. This particular one isn't spec'd exactly like an original. The seats are a little bit different. They've got a blue stitching in here. Wheels are different, tires are different, modern chassis, obviously modern engine. But you can spec one of these however you want it. opinion, Superformance, they do some of the best Cobra replicas, so much so that their cars are actually the ones used in the Ford vs. Ferrari movie, and those cars in the movie aren't the real deal, and probably makes sense given that the real thing is millions of dollars depending on which one you get. And this car, in my opinion, you don't pay that huge price tag, and you get modern components, modern engine, a modern chassis, but it feels like you're in the real deal. You still feel like you're Carroll Shelby saying, there's a point at 7,000 RPM where everything begins to fade, where a machine becomes weightless, a body moving through space and time. Now, I don't think Carroll Shelby actually said that, but in the movie it sure did sound cool. Now, I would talk about more of the numerical performance of this car, such as 0 to 60, skid pad grip, all of that. For one, I can't measure that, but also, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. This car is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's nothing else is like it. It's an emotional driving experience. This car represents everything I love about sports cars. This car is truly, it just represents driving freedom. I'm recording this video right now. I don't know if my camera's working. I don't know if my mic's working. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear a word I say. But it doesn't matter. I may never get to have an experience like this again. I may never experience a car that is this raw, this engaging, this powerful, and this sentimental to me. So I'm going to tell you what I can about it. But if you don't get anything, it doesn't matter to me. My day is complete right here, right now. And I wouldn't have my day any other way. I wish I had better words to explain how special this car makes you feel. And this car isn't easy to live with by any means. It's loud. I'm not going to be able to hear tomorrow. I'm going to lose my voice here pretty soon. But it's worth it. It's so worth it. Forgot I was in 5th gear and it doesn't matter. It still pulls away. Now, I'm 18 years old. By no means am I the most talented driver in the world. I would wager to say this car is easy to drive. Yes, it does scare you. Yes, you put your foot down, the rear wheels want to go. But it has so much torque and the clutch is light enough that it's forgiving to drive. I would drive this car. Of course, you got the road noise, it's loud, whatever, but from the driver's seat, it's comfortable to drive. Now, one of the coolest things about the Superformance Cobra is that it's a modern chassis with modern parts, obviously still wrapped in a classic body. So what that means is that this car, the Shelby Cobra, is already an incredibly fast car for its time. But this car, I have no way to measure it, but I bet it could keep up with a lot of modern sports cars of today. this car is fantastic. I feel everything in the road, but it's not harsh at all. It gives you all the feedback you want between the steering and the suspension here. That you just feel connected to this car. I wish I had another camera right now because I'm looking at one of the most beautiful views from the driver's seat I've ever had. Just got this straight road, mountains around me, storm off in the distance. We're not going there, but just, this is driving paradise. I'm trying to take it all in. All right, got no cars behind me. We're gonna do attempt to do a little bit of a launch. See if we can keep it under control. I'm not gonna do anything I can't handle, but here we go. Some cars that are about performance and there are some about the experience. This does both, but it sure is about the experience. Oh. I don't ever want this drive to end. I don't want to leave this car. So before my camera dies, I'm going to talk a little bit about the looks of this car. There's not a lot to say as they mostly speak for themselves. I, for one, think this car is one of the most, like, I don't know, just beautiful, but also like just angry looking cars. I mean, it's elegant European design, obviously with the original design of this body shape being by AC Cars, but just with the way that the Shelby version has such a wider stance and the side pipes and just everything that's been changed about the car makes it look so much more aggressive than the original design. Hold on. And I just think it's one of the best, especially this spec. In the lightning blue with white stripes, it doesn't get much better than that. I would say really the only thing I dislike about the exterior of this car is this one has been optioned with a 427 badge. And yes, if you're trying to stay true to the original, I understand, but also if this has a 5.0 in it, either just don't put 427 on the side or find a 5.0 badge. I don't know. I think if this car was maybe going for the full replica look, sure, go for the badge, but not really with the modern enhancements. That's not for me. But yeah, this car, I mean, just the stance of it, I wish I could, maybe I'll get another shot if my camera doesn't die, but just the stance of this car, it just looks like it's squatted on the ground. The tires are, I kid you not, like each of them look like they're almost a foot wide, especially the rears. And just, oh my gosh, the way that this car looks as it's driving on the road. I mean, you've heard me say it over and over again. There aren't many cars like this, and man, it's just a special one. Also, on 1% battery, I want to show you the interior of this car real quick. I love it. simple, analog, wood steering wheel's great. Dog leg shifter is super cool. Blue stitching on seats is nice. I wish that this video would be able to convey just the way that this car makes me feel and what it's like to drive it. But there's nothing any video can do to convey that. Not for this car. But I'm going to do everything I can to give you the best watching experience, because I want you to understand how amazing this car is. That's what I'm passionate about. I want you, the viewer, to understand what makes driving cars so great and why I love them and why you should too. And this car is a perfect representation of that feeling of freedom, that feeling of just wanting to follow the road as far as it'll take you. This is one of the best drives that I'm ever going to have in my life. I'm typically at a loss for words when I'm behind the wheel. And that remains the same today. The Shelby Cobra is I would argue one of the more famous classic sports cars of its day. And even though not everyone may know its history or what makes it so special, everyone recognizes it as a Shelby Cobra. As I'm here driving this back road, I'm getting so many waves from motorcyclists, other drivers, people rolling down their windows when I stop, asking if I'm okay. This car is an icon of just American racing history. As I'm driving this car, I get emotional. I don't know when or if I'll ever get to do something like this again. This car, like I said, it's just the car for me. This is the car I've dreamt about. It's the car I imagine on a perfect day just driving through a mountain like this. And I have no way of knowing if I'm ever going to get to do something like this ever again. And automotive journalism is my passion, and if there's one thing that I get to do in life, I hope it's this. But if it's not, well, it was worth trying it out for a little while just to get to do this. But I'm going to do everything I can to have more experiences like it. I wish I had more to say about this car. I mean, I'm sure. Quick review. Throttle response, fantastic. This car has more than enough power to get you going in any gear. Steering, fantastic. No power steering, feels raw. Road feels straight to your hands. Driving position's fine, feels like you're sitting on the ground. It's where you want to be in a car like this. Pedals are a little tight, but it's fine, you get used to it. It's loud, whatever. Wouldn't want to be any taller for this car, but 6 feet is a good fit. Short people will enjoy this car. Tall people might be looking above the windshield here. But I really don't want to bore you with the review on this car. I want you to sit here with me in the passenger seat, and I want you to experience this. Words are not enough to do this car justice, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't know if I'll ever repeat myself more in a review. And it's not because I'm uncomfortable and I don't know what to say. It's because there's nothing else to say. And it was so fun to drive the snot out of this car. That's a great sound. No modern car can offer you just the raw and intense experience that this car provides. There's nothing like it. That's the most exhausting and exciting thing you can do in a car. Just drive one of these.